When I look back at my own life, I think it was the stress and the drama that's in my own family that makes me meditate every day. It just helps me to be less gripped, less moved, less prone to yelling and screaming, less prone to the rise of emotions. There used to be a time when one word said by someone could ruin my mood for a week. It would trigger a migraine. And I would have that headache for 7 days, because then once I got the migraine, then I would pop the pill. And as soon as the pill started wearing off, then the feelings would return, and again you pop the pill. So it would go on and on. So what was actually an emotional problem became a pain management problem. And when I look back on my life, and I don't want to extend that to anybody else, the periods where I've had tremendous body pain, like muscle ache for no reason, unable to walk, plantar fasciitis, broke like a fractured wrist, like a feeling of a fractured wrist, crippling migraines, irritable bowel syndrome, all these diseases that I've had for so many years, have been medicated for so many years, and they suddenly just gone in the last 10 years. I suffered with irritable bowel syndrome for so many years, and they could not find what it was. Medicines after medicines after medicines. Finally they say, you're so depressed, let me give you some Zoloft. And they think that that's going to alleviate all your problems. You see, modern medicine doesn't realize that this whole mind-body complex is one. It treats only symptoms, and symptoms are only symptoms of another source, another reason. They never get to the source of the problem. Very often, if your mind is in a bad place, you'll see 3 or 4 days later, it will manifest in some sort of pain or disease or a cold or a stomach upset. Your immunity will fall for those days. So very often what happens, after these big get-togethers that we have for Thanksgiving and Christmas, 2 weeks later you've fallen sick. You look at it, you try to look back at your life, and this will happen, especially if things have not gone well at the gathering. Right? There are so many personalities, so much energy coming into conflict with you. So many different opinions on everything. So many different political leanings, so many different interests, so many different ideas on how life should be led. And the thing about family is that you can't do anything about them. At least with friends, if it's a friend who's offending you, very easily you can walk away. Very easily you can just say, enough. I've had enough. I don't need this drama anymore. And you can walk away. You don't need to meet that person again. You don't need to be in that person's surrounding again. But what happens when it's someone that is so close to you that you don't know what to do? This could be your husband, your sister, your daughter, who's giving you a hard time. You just don't get it right with them. They somehow push your buttons. You want their approval. You want them to support what you're doing. And when it doesn't happen, you're like, what did I do wrong? What do I have to do to make this right? There is a longing inside of you that everybody treat you as you would treat them. And I'm sure each one of you, when I'm saying this, has got a different person in their head. Somebody whose approval you're dying for. Somebody who you want to be on your side, to be your friend. But it's not happening. It's not happening. Could it be that that person was sent to you so that you develop your spiritual muscle? Could it be that that person was sent to you so that you delve deep inside your own self for that inner strength to just say, it's okay. It's okay. Whatever it is that's happening, whatever it is that's going on in my life, this relationship has not worked out. It's okay. There is something else in store for me. Whenever one relationship breaks down or closes, there is always a support system. Something else opens. Always. It's not all dark. It's not all misery. Yet we want that which is not working out. We want that relationship to work, whether it's with a spouse, with a child, with a mother. These are close relationships. They're born too close to you to ignore. Because to the world, if you ignore your mother, or you ignore your sister, or you ignore your child, you're a very bad person. Everybody's looking at you as if... But what if you could manage to receive their insults, their criticisms, their lack of approval, whatever it is that's coming from them, and not be affected at all? It's like you have a deflector in front of you, just letting it go. And you always retreat into that source that is constantly telling you, it's all okay, it's all fine, just as it is. Roses and thorns, right? We know this analogy so much. We go to touch the rose and we get pricked by the thorn that's there to protect it. Understand, when someone is lashing out at you, when someone is saying something to you, there is something else going on inside their head. See, what happens is at that time, we feel so insulted and so affronted. We have this resistance saying, like, how can this happen? So we're not thinking from their point of view. That's why you need something like a deflector, so that you're able to take that breath, and just let it go. One deep Ujjayi breath. And just say, poor thing, they don't know better. They don't know any better. It's okay. It's okay. Because what happens is, they may have said something to you once, but you will say it to yourself 5,000 times. You will say it, you will repeat scenarios. And if you're like me, different scenarios, things that I should have said. Because my problem is, I never say anything. And then I think, oh, I should have said this, I could have said that. But those, it is your nature, right? That's what comes to the surface. And my nature is to just say, okay, bye-bye. Nice meeting you. Okay, that's fine. And I know that whenever there's a group of people, there is going to be some controversy. And you have to ride it like a surfer, ride the waves and not get drawn into it. That is a very difficult technique. The holidays are a good time and a bad time. It's great to be with people, and especially after the pandemic, it has shown us that we were never designed to live alone. We are social creatures. We need people. We need to surround ourselves with people. But not just anyone. Who are you surrounding yourself with? You've got to think about that. Sometimes, even when it's a close relation, you have to pull back. Sometimes these relationships are extremely toxic. I have a friend who always complained that their father had a bipolar disorder and would make their lives miserable. Miserable. There is a lot of dysfunction going on in people's lives. A lot of it. And you are very blessed if that hasn't touched you. And your job going forward is to spread more peace, more joy, more happiness, more care, more love. You return insults with a praise, with a smile. It's not easy. First of all, you have to catch yourself getting all angry, getting all upset. And then at the time, you have to find the right words to say. Because when words get heated, you tend to say things that you never intended to in the first place. I always feel it's better to keep quiet in the moment, not have the last word, and just return every insult, every slight with a smile. It's all okay. The bigger picture is much more beautiful. There are many people in this world that love you, that care for you, that will do for you. If there's nobody, there are angels that appear. People come from somewhere whenever you require them, whenever you are needed. Your job in this world is not to prove anything to anyone. Is not to have the last word. Is not to be the most successful of all successful people. Your job, if you are here on this call, on this video chat, is only to be happy. That is your only job. You have to figure out how to live your life effortlessly. Not affected by your life situation. Your life situation can be anything. Anything. You can have physical pain, you can have mental anguish, you can have difficult relationships, you can have financial problems, you can have economic disturbances, you can live in a political madhouse. It doesn't matter. You remain in that bubble of hope. You are the torch bearer. You are the one that spreads this wonder, this feeling of goodwill, of abundance, of perfection in life. It's all good. It's all good. So don't go into the holidays with this feeling of, oh my God, what's going to happen this time? Go into it saying that I'm going to have a wonderful time. Everything is going to be perfect. And every time anyone says anything, I'm just going to find another plant to water, another vegetable to cut. going to curl my hair, do my eye makeup. Find something that I have to run away and do. So you don't need to respond. We can escape it. And just keep our sanity, keep our peace, because that peace that you have is so, so precious that nobody has the right to take it away from you. Nobody, no event, no situation. Om Namah Shivaya.